Heidi, thanks for your time as always. You've released a report today on the export of critical minerals. Is there a ready market for that sort of clean commodity?
Thanks, Kieran. There's absolutely a growing global market for clean minerals and critical economy pieces that we're going to need to set up Australia to have a really viable export market in the rest of this century. The report that we're releasing today shows that these green export industries like green steel, renewable hydrogen, green aluminium and critical minerals are going to surge in demand as zero carbon products start to dominate global economic growth this century. You mentioned our critical minerals. We've got lithium, nickel and rare earths, and those alone could be worth $40 billion per year to us by 2030 and over $160 billion in 2050 export revenue. Altogether, Australia could grow a new green export mix worth $333 billion per annum by 2050. This is a jobs boom for regional Australia, where we can leverage highly skilled industrial workforces to capitalise on our mineral wealth with renewable energy resources so that we can become this green export powerhouse.
Is there an overlap of those regions, say the traditional regions for mining and so on with the critical minerals piece? Is there an overlap in terms of those regions? Would it be relevant to, say, the likes of the Hunter or Latrobe?
Absolutely. Last time we spoke, I mentioned that Beyond Zero Emissions was working on a renewable energy industrial precinct concept, which is looking at creating a national program for transitioning existing industrial areas around Australia. We had identified that in just two of those locations, the Hunter and Gladstone, we would create 45,000 new jobs over 10 years. So these precincts become the engine rooms of the zero emissions economy, and they're about transitioning existing manufacturing as well as making way for these new industries. But they do need early capital investment. So we need a runway to make sure that these export industries can supply those green exports as global demand picks up.
There's a bit of a strategic overlay to this as well in terms of critical minerals, because China has previously dominated this space. You would have thought that many of our allies, the United States and others, would be seeking other sources for some of these minerals.
That's right. I think that Australia has traditionally looked to where our energy exports have had the greatest demand, and currently our energy exports, our commodity exports, are around 40% fossil fuels. And the majority of those exports go to our top 5 trading partners, and every one of them has committed to net zero emissions. So demand for fossil fuel exports is going to decline. Already coal exports to China collapse. Japan has just introduced energy policies that we're going to see coal and gas slashed by 40% of their imports. Our critical minerals are one of the most essential foundations of what comes next for our global economy, our role in the global economy. We've got the mineral resources, we've got the renewable energy to value add to them onshore, and we've got the industrial workforce that can do the job.
What do you say to those who would point to the coal price at the moment and say, there's demand, the price is soaring, everything's fine?
Well, I think that what we need to do is think beyond the short term in these things. When we have set these ambitious net zero targets by our trading partners, we need to be looking not just at what our customers want today, but where the market is moving. So let's make sure that we're not waiting until too late to take action on setting ourselves up to play a strong role in the global economy for over the next 3 decades.
Heidi Lee, what's just finally, your reaction to this announcement by the New South Wales coalition government, Gladys Berejiklian and the Nationals leader John Barilaro committing to halve emissions by 2030? That's up from 35% reduction.
The New South Wales government's new target to halve emissions is really great news for New South Wales industry. It means that they're going to get more clean energy jobs this decade because they've set a serious near-term target. Regional Australia doesn't need to wait until 2050. We can actually start building new export industries across the country today, and setting these targets gives investors confidence to put in the capital up front to make sure that they have a strong place to settle and grow. So diversity in our regional economies is going to make it strong economies. The New South Wales government has made a really strong move today to set up the state to capitalise on this opportunity.
Joining me live from Melbourne, Heidi Lee, CEO of Beyond Zero Emissions. Thank you for your time. As always, appreciate it.
Thank you.